March the 7th, 2023. Guys, in this morning's video, I mentioned the fact that a lot of people lining up at food banks across the nation. And we're looking at an article from today. This is from The Hill, but it's on a lot of different media outlets. It says, cuts to the SNAP benefits will push millions over the hunger cliff. This is today, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. It's been out, but think about that. Millions over the hunger cliff. Look at the stopping of shipment of fertilizer last year by Union Pacific, other railroads. Stopping of grain to the cattle, same entities involved. Stopping of diesel and fuel to the farmers and to the truckers. And what it's done is create the beginning of massive food shortages. And then here's the kind of the catch-22 in here. You have a damn panic the last 2 years, and everyone gets on all these benefits, and they become accustomed to that, and then the rug gets snapped out from under you. Now, I think it was on purpose. One thing is we were about to go into a Great Depression, and how do you stop the massive loss of jobs on the reports and the amount of inflation happening and the amount of loss of wages and all that? Creates something that happens to where you can open up all the government benefits for a couple years, and delay the inevitable. And then start again stopping the shipment of fertilizer and grains and diesel. Now, having said that, let's read the article. It says, starting in 2020, the damn panic pulled back the curtain on the tattered state of the U.S. safety net and the millions of families who were falling through it. Hunger rates were expected to soar like they did during the Great Recession. But that's not what happened. Thanks to the damn panic, expansion of the Federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, millions of Americans kept food on their tables during unprecedented public health and economic emergency. These emergency allotments made food easier to access and increased the number of people who were eligible. Hunger rates stayed put during the emergency, and poverty actually fell. Of course they did. Somewhat, but you have to realize where these reports came from. The poverty fell somewhat because people had a little more cash in their pockets. Why? Because a lot of people could not go to work. There were layoffs everywhere. That was starting, and it changed with the last administration. It said, unfortunately, that enhanced food assistance came to an end last Wednesday because Congress failed to make them permanent. You can't keep that up when you're sending billions of dollars overseas, by the way, to a devastated area, one of the great bread baskets of the world. It says, because Congress again failed to make them permanent, with the double whammy of inflated food prices and other damn panic supports like the expanded child tax credit, eviction moratoria, remember you couldn't kick anybody out, and expansions in Medicare also ending, or Medicaid, millions of American families are now at risk of hunger. Now, I saw a report today to where the city of New York is paying $5 million a day, guys, of your taxpayer money to house immigrants from across the border. $5 million a day. But the elderly people of the nation will starve. Demons are running this. But there's a chapter in Revelation also where it mentions that nations were angry. And that God will destroy those who destroy the earth. Same group of people that are supposedly running the nations, running them into the ground, are behind a lot of the destruction of our planet, whether it's war, pollution, whatever it is, weather manipulation. It says that this is a critical moment for our nation, and it is. It was planned to be critical. We must not allow struggling workers or our children, grandparents, and disabled loved ones to fall back into hunger. SNAP helps a quarter of U.S. children avoid hunger. Now, let's go back to, who was it, Slick Willie, that sent all the jobs to Mexico. And that continued for several years, and they went everywhere overseas. Mexico, overseas. You can't, very few American-made products anymore. All planned way back then. So when these folks that have tried to live off their retirement, it wasn't much retirement to live off of because they lost their jobs. Millions lost their jobs. Whole cities and states went into poverty. I remember when it happened here in central Mississippi, one of the top manufacturing companies in the world for fluorescent ballast, for fluorescent lights and stuff, was sent to Mexico. 3 shifts of a huge manufacturing plant were shut down. People were given a couple $1,000s, have been there 20, 30 years, severance. So Slick Willie knew what he was doing while he was taking all that, his severance pay on the backflow of the trade. Anyway, says again, you've got 250,000 U.S. children involved in trying to avoid hunger. Help 6 million older adults on fixed incomes, 4 million non-elderly disabled people, and more than 1 million low-income veterans. The majority of people on SWAP earn an income and don't receive cash welfare benefits. You get the card. SNAP puts food on the table for Americans of every color and every zip code. The Dampenic SNAP expansion successfully married racial, ethnic inequities and food security. Even though the majority of beneficiaries are white and participation is highest in rural areas and small towns. So how bad will things get without action? Children, workers, elderly who rely on SNAP benefits will now lose an average of $90 per month. Daily food assistance will fall from an average of $9 per person per day to an average of $6.10. Now, the Department of Ag recently updated the Thrifty Food Plan for SNAP beneficiaries, softens the blow for some families, but that program is already being targeted by conservatives in Congress. If they roll back the Biden administration's updates, benefits could plummet further to just $4.75 per day. These lawmakers should try eating well on $6 per day, never mind on less than $5. For older Americans, the blow will be even worse. Seniors who ordinarily qualified for only the most meager benefits before the Dampenic emergency allotments now face the steepest hunger cliff. A lot of these succumb to the Dampenic. It says their monthly allotment will plunge from $281 to just $23 per month, about 75 cents a day. These tragic, unnecessary cuts will undermine one of our country's most effective anti-poverty and anti-hunger programs. Revelation 6:6. Let's go there a moment. Now, Revelation 6, the 7 seals are what we're talking about, and I did a complete video on this chapter. I think it was 1 through 3, then 4, 5, 6, and 7, maybe 8, 9, and 10, and we're up to, the next one will be 13, and I'm not trying to regress here, but this is called the living word for a reason. It means that it continues to live day by day, and the people that have ears to hear and eyes to see and have an open mind as far as when I say that, I mean the fact that you're searching out the truth. Then if you do that on a daily basis, you'll start to recognize certain things, and you'll start seeing indicators that even add to the information of the book of Revelation. In other words, it's like looking at today's newspaper, or tomorrow's newspaper today, as Pastor Murray used to say. In other words, you can see these events. You can see them coming, and I think God is good in the way that He lets us see some of the symbology that the demons use here and there. But there was a commenter on my video this morning named DDEEJ57. And they said it's amazing that this Norfolk Southern trains and their logo is a black horse. That's the horse of famine. Let's read this just a moment. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it were the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. And when he opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat therein to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. We see that happening now, don't we? And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Now, guys, a measure is 1.1 liters. If you look up the measurement that they used back then, that was 2.4 pounds, say, of flour or wheat. A penny was not copper like we know of it. It was silver. And it was 0.13 ounces, or about 3.8 grams of silver, not copper. But it equaled to 1 day's wage. So you could get 1.1 liters or 2.4 pounds of flour or oats, again, for your day's labor. Think about it. That's if you can find labor, but it's going to be hard to live on that. So what happens? We see the next horse come in after this famine is set up. And when he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, Come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death. And hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, with hunger, with death, and the beast of the earth. We see the sword, the hunger is setting up now, and with death. Guys, when you get to where you don't have much to eat, what happens to your immune system? You start to get hungry, basically slowly starving to death. All kind of diseases become rampant because your body is not strong enough to fight them off. And when he opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held, and they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? White robes were given every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren should be killed as they were, this should be fulfilled. Guys, we just went over this. I'm not going to go into detail about what is happening here. Go back and look at that chapter. It's not much longer than this. But my point is here, this black horse. Look at the image on the right. Again, this was mentioned to me in a comment this morning. Look at it on our early morning video about East Palestine, or East Palestine, excuse me. And you'll see that comment at the top. I pinned it there because I think it's important to realize. But again, the Word is a living Word, and each day as you look around and you see things happening, and people come in and comment on things they saw and what they see and hear, it all adds together. And we've seen the destruction brought by the black horse already. Black, by the way, is a symbol of death. I'm not talking about black people. That's not what I'm talking about. But look at Black Rock. The people that own Norfolk Southern, own many banks, have a lot of industrial complex involvement. So I think that's where we're at. And if I have time today, I'm going to go and we're going to do Revelation 13. I was going to do that in this period of time, but I thought we need to kind of go back at 6 for a moment and look at where we are at, guys. This black horse that's starting to ride, are you prepared? Are you prepared to work that day's wages if you can get it? And who will you be working for? Think about it. Prepare yourself and prepare your family accordingly, guys. We're watching this. It's a heads up. Be safe.